The making of regional cultures. India's diverse regional languages and various festivals, different dance forms and music, dresses and food items evolved during the medieval age. In this lesson, we will study some of the historical processes which shaped the regional cultures of India. What we understand as regional cultures today are often the product of complex processes of intermixing of the local traditions with ideas from other parts of the subcontinent. The Cheras and the development of Malayalam. The Cheras and the development of Malayalam shows the connection between language and region. The Chera dynasty of Kerala had links with the Pandyas and the Chola dynasty of Tamil Nadu. Till 8th century, Malayalam, the local language of Kerala, was influenced by Tamil. After this, Brahmins migrated to Kerala and built temples there which became centers of Sanskrit learning. Around the 9th century, Kerala came under the rule of new Chera rulers called the Perumals, who set up their capital at Mahodayapuram. Under the Perumals, the influence of Sanskrit on Malayalam increased. The first literary work in Malayalam, dated to about 12th century, is directly indebted to Sanskrit. Leela Tilakam, a 14th century work on Malayalam grammar, was written in Maniparvala style, which shows the growing influence of Sanskrit on Malayalam. Maniparvala means a combination of gem with coral. Gem refers to a Dravidian language, which in this case is Malayalam, and coral represents Sanskrit. Religious worship in Orissa, Odisha. Regional cultures grew around regional traditions. The best example of this process is the cult of Jagannath at Puri, Odisha. Lord Shiva was widely worshipped in Odisha till the rise of Ganga dynasty. In the 12th century, Anantavarman began building the famous Jagannath temple at Puri. The temple was probably completed by his son. The Jagannath temple was highly respected by the people of Odisha. So, all the conquerors of Odisha protected its interest. Jagannath is believed to be a tribal deity who came to be identified with Lord Krishna. Along with Jagannath, his brother Balbhadra and sister Subhadra are also worshipped. The idols are carved logs of wood on which large eyes were painted. The famous Rath Yatra festival is celebrated annually in June or July, when 3 wooden rathas bearing the idols are drawn in a procession through the streets of Puri. The Kathak dance form of North India. The term Kathak is derived from Katha, a word used in Sanskrit and other languages for story. The Kathakas were a caste of storytellers in temples of North India who performed with gestures and songs. During the Bhakti movement, Kathak became increasingly based on stories from the life of Lord Krishna. The legends of Radha Krishna were enacted in folk plays called the Ras Leela. Under the Mughal emperor and nobles, Kathak was performed in courts where it acquired its present features and developed a distinctive style of dance form. Under the patronage of rulers like Nawab Wajid Ali Shah of Awadh in Uttar Pradesh, several regional gharanas or schools of Kathak developed. Among these were the Jaipur Gharana of Rajasthan and the Benares and Lucknow Gharanas of Uttar Pradesh. Kathak was viewed with disfavor by most of the British administrators. However, it survived and continued to be performed by courtesans and was recognized as one of 6 classical forms of dance after independence. Other dance forms that are recognized as classical at present are Bharatnatyam, Tamil Nadu, Odishi, Odisha, Manipuri, Manipur, Kathakali, Kerala, and Kuchipudi, Andhra Pradesh. The Rajput tradition of heroism. In the 9th century, the region that constitutes present-day Rajasthan was called Rajputana by the British. It may suggest that the area was inhabited by Rajputs, but it is only partly true. There are several people other than Rajputs who live in Rajasthan. However, the Rajputs are often recognized as contributing to the distinctive culture of Rajasthan. The Rajputs preserved the stories of their heroism, loyalty, friendship, and love in popular ballads and songs. Young Rajputs were trained in the art of warfare and were expected to follow the examples set by these stories. They preferred death than to fleeing from battlefield. They also guarded the honor of their women folk. Women were also depicted as following their heroic husbands in both life and death. There are stories about the practice of sati, or immolation of widows, on funeral pyre of their husband. So, those who followed the heroic ideal often had to pay for it with their lives. Paintings. In the medieval period, many rulers and nobles promoted the painting of miniatures, small-size paintings. These paintings were made of different materials like paper, cloth, wood, ivory, and leather. The paints used were of natural dyes made from vegetables and minerals, including gold and silver. In the early medieval period, miniatures depicted religious themes. The Palas of Bengal patronized the use of miniatures to illustrate Buddhism, while in Western India, miniatures were used to decorate Jain manuscripts. During the Sultanate period, miniatures were used in book illumination. The Mughals introduced new themes depicting court scenes, battles, natural landscapes, etc. Humayun brought two famous painters, Mir Sayyid Ali and Abdus Samad, from Persia, who founded the first school of Mughal miniature painting in India. The Mughal emperors Akbar, Jahangir, and Shah Jahan patronized highly skilled painters who primarily illustrated manuscripts containing historical accounts and poetry. Aurangzeb's dislike for painting led to the migration of painters from Mughal court to the different places such as Rajasthan, Kangra, and the Deccan. Different styles of miniature painting developed in different regions. The Pahari style of painting developed in the hills, extending from Jammu to Garhwal. The Sultans of Deccan patronized the Deccan style of miniature painting. Developments in medieval Bengal. We often tend to identify regions in terms of the languages spoken by the people. So, we assume that people in Bengal always spoke Bengali. However, it is interesting to note that while Bengali is now recognized as a language derived from Sanskrit, early Sanskrit texts suggest that the people of Bengal did not speak Sanskrit language. Under the patronage of the Muslim rulers of Bengal, several authors translated the Ramayana and Mahabharata into Bengali from Sanskrit. Kritivas Ojha translated the Ramayana and Srikara Nandi translated parts of Mahabharata into Bengali. In fact, by the 15th century, the Bengali group of dialects came to be united by a common literary language based on the spoken language of the western part of the region, now known as West Bengal. Thus, although Bengali is derived from Sanskrit, it passed through several stages of evolution. Early Bengali literature may be divided into two categories. One is indebted to Sanskrit and the other is independent of it. The first includes Bhakti literature like the biographies of Chaitanya Dev, the leader of the Vaishnava Bhakti movement. The second includes Nath literature. The Nath Panthis composed two types of literature which were passed on orally. One was in the form of instructive verses, partly in code language, meant for cult members. The other was in the form of stories. They include epic poems called Mangal Kavyas, so called because even listening to these stories is believed to bring overall well-being. They include stories of heroism of low-caste men and women. Bengali architecture. There were migration of people from the less fertile West Bengal to the forested areas of southeastern Bengal during the 16th century. As people moved eastwards, They brought the land under rice cultivation by clearing the forests. This coincided with the establishment of Mughal control over Bengal with their capital at Dhaka. As officials and functionaries received land grants, they often set up mosques that served as centers for religious transformation in these areas. Tribal traditions influenced the architectural style of temple building in Bengal during the medieval period. Tribal deities were often worshipped in the chala, thatched shrines. When Hindus worshipped these deities, they placed the images in temples resembling the chala shrine. Such a temple had a sloping roof which looked like either a dochla with a roof made of 4 pieces of thatch. Some of the best examples of Bangla-style temples are found in Vishnupur in the Bankura district of West Bengal. Among these are Radha Binod and Kishta Raya temples. The red soil of Vishnupur is excellent for making terracotta bricks and sculptures. The temples of Vishnupur have beautiful terracotta bands on their walls. Fish in Bengali culture. Traditional food habits are generally based on locally available food items. Much of Bengal is a riverine plain which produces plenty of rice and fish. Hence, fish is an important item in the daily diet of the people of Bengal. People from all sections of Bengali society eat fish. Even Brahmins, unlike the Brahmins in most parts of India, are allowed to eat white fish with scales. Fishing has always been an important occupation for the people of Bengal, and Bengali literature contains several references of fish. Besides serving as food, fish are regarded as auspicious and are used in ceremonies and rituals. Fish are depicted in sculptures, paintings, and alpanas. Alpanas are folk art forms in which designs are drawn on the floor with a powder of rice flour. Trivia. Kathakali is a classical dance form of Kerala. This dance form has a unique blend of literature, music, painting, acting, and dance. Kathakali literally means story play. Trivia. Pahari painting is an umbrella term used for a form of painting that flourished in the mountainous regions of India. It was mostly done in a miniature form but presents great variation in style.